Hello everyone. So this is Anita Valecha, MSc B.Ed M.Ed. MSc I've done from Lucknow University, B.Ed from Mumbai University. I was a gold medalist there, and M.Ed I've done from NMLI University. And I've got around 29 years of teaching experience. I've taught in different metro cities: Chinmaya Vidyalaya, New Delhi, Thakur College of Science and Commerce, Mumbai, AKIITPS School, Bangalore, and presently I am working with SJIS, Lucknow, that is St. Joseph International School, Lucknow. So basically, I am here to share some good educational practices in educational institutes. So basically, with such a huge teaching experience and with the qualification, I would like to make the society benefited by my experiences. So I want to make something which can be beneficial for students, teachers, and society by large. So basically, I want to present some practices so that the teaching learning processes can be made more smoother, interesting, motivating, more interactive. The classroom is just not the teacher speaking and the students listening, but the classroom is a place where teachers, students both interact with each other and learning becomes a very good experience. And I want to present the various strategies for the educational institutes which cannot afford the educationists. The bigger institutes that they afford the educationals, they have better ways, better strategies, and better suggestions from them, and they utilize it accordingly. But for the institutes that do not have this facility, which cannot afford the facilities, can take benefit from these videos. So I want to do my pretty best so that I can do something for the society and the society get benefited by my experiences, what I have experienced in by teaching in these institutes, which were really great, which taught me all what I will be able to present to you in my coming videos. So basically, I've divided the entire content into various videos, and my very first video will be from lesson plans. So let's start it. So in this video of lesson plan, basically why a lesson plan is required. The teacher, if she has to teach any chapter in the classroom and she goes unprepared without planning, is the teaching learning fruitful? No, it will not be. Let's say I'm a chemistry teacher, so I would give you some examples from my subject. So basically, if I go to teach states of matter in a classroom, and I just don't go prepared and just carry a book with me, and the students also sitting listening, uninterested. So I just reading. I the other day I was just going observing a classroom where the teacher told students to read from the book about the states of matter. So if a student is reading from states of a book science lesson, and what he will learn from there, how much he will understand. So basically, the planning is very much required. How much content to be, and what happened in that? I was talking about a person whose lecture I attended. The whole chapter the students read on that same day. So the whole chapter got over in one lecture. And after the lecture, the student came outside and was telling me, "Ma'am, some teachers they teach the entire chapter in one day." So, like if you go without planning, this is going to happen. You will not understand how much to teach. If you read the chapter, reading may go very fast also. If it's merely reading, not understanding, not making the students understand. So basically, the lesson planning is very important. So when we are doing a lesson plan, we have to divide the chapter into various topics, subtopics, and be sure about what we have to teach in a particular day. So let's say if I have to teach haloalkanes and haloarenes, a chapter of class 12 chemistry, so I should know how many lectures are required to complete that chapter. Okay, so just uh, going and teaching, reading from the books and just doing a rote learning thing, that learning from the home and then putting it before the students, just a one-way traffic going on, writing the reactions on the board, taking the help of the book. So this all should be avoided basically. The teaching learning should be a pleasant experience, what I feel. Okay. So when you are doing a lesson plan, you have to first divide your chapter into subtopics. Okay. You should be knowing approximately that how much you have to teach in one topic, one lecture. For example, if a lecture is of 40 minutes or 50 minutes or 1 hour, accordingly you can break your chapter into different subtopics. Okay. So let's say my chapter gets over in eight lectures. Okay. So I have to accordingly plan it. So if let's say I have to do this first chapter in the month of June. So I have to decide when June, which week it will start, which week it will get over, and how much will be covered in each day. Okay. Now, in a classroom teaching we are doing, in that classroom, that one lecture also or one class also, you have to divide your ways, that what you will be doing in these 40 minutes. That should also be very well planned. Okay. So initially, let's say first 5 minutes, I go and 5 minutes I introduce my topic, I start my topic, I interact with the students, carry some this thing some card or something, some chart paper or some way to induce the chapter in the class. And then after the induction it goes to teaching. So when you're teaching, you can show the video to the students. Nowadays, so teaching ICTs are very well involved in the teaching learning. So you can show a video about that in the classroom, depending on what chapter you are teaching. However, once a video can help. So for induction, the video can also be useful. Then, or you can show a card, you can show a chart paper where you can introduce your topic, or by simple definition, or by also a topic can be introduced depending on what topic you are teaching and which subject you are teaching. Okay, so 5-10 minutes goes in induction, 10 minutes goes in introduction, then 10 minutes then you start teaching your topic. So teach the content, ask the students question. First you put up your content, write on the board the what you are going to teach. The board work is also very important, very neatly written, and in that rather you should write your subtopics what you are going to teach in that day on the board on the left side, and then you can go on start your teaching one by one. As the topic gets so you can put a tick mark there, yes, this topic got over. And then during the teaching in between you should ask questions also what you have taught, whether the students have understood or not. If they have not understood, you can repeat it, or and then you can revise the topic, summarize it at the end, ask questions what you have taught, give them homework. Not a very voluminous homework, should not be very voluminous, but rather some questions that could help them to revise the content at home. So basically the lesson plan is very important, and let's see how we can do the lesson planning. So first and foremost we have to do a year plan. That means you have to divide the entire subject topics into subject into the different chapters, which is already done in the books. But now which chapter to teach when, that accordingly a planning should be done month wise. And then these different subtopics should also be arranged. So for that I would suggest you can make in your school or in your college you can make a book in which you can have year plan and logbook compliance, and evaluation can also be done in the same book. So in the cover page you can write the name of the teacher, subject she's going to teach, and the class and divisions they're going to teach, and the academic year can be mentioned. So first, if such a book can be made for your school or college, then instructions can be given in the logbook that the year teaching plan has to be written in the beginning of the year, in which the only names of the chapter or main topic has to be written. Then year teaching plan has to be verified by the subject in charges. Okay. Then lesson plan has to be written before starting any chapter for every chapter. So when a new chapter starts, before that you have to do the lesson planning, that this chapter will be taught in six sessions or 7 sessions. Accordingly you can plan the lesson. And then logbook has to be maintained on a daily basis. After coming from the lecture you should write how much you have completed, or how much not completed, what reason that it was not completed. So subtopics should be mentioned in the daily logbook very clearly. Okay, so then daily logbook has to be written division wise, for which separate pages to be given for each division. Let's say I'm teaching in 12th, I'm also teaching in 11th, I'm also teaching in 10th and 9th. So for all the different classes, or maybe I'm teaching in 12A, 12B, 12C. So accordingly, the for different classes, different pages should be maintained. Okay. So due to any reason, if the lecture is not able to complete as per teaching plan, then the number of lectures should be adjusted for the particular topic. Okay. Let's say chapter I'm not able to complete before examination. I have to teach 3 chapters and I have not completed it. So I may take extra lectures to complete it, but the portion should be completed before the examination. So, respective subject in charge should verify the logbook on weekly basis. So, whichever is the subject in charge, some schools are having a number of teachers for a particular subject. So, in that case, the subject in charges are there. So those subject in charges can verify that whether the logbook is being maintained regularly. They can verify from the students also whatever done in the logbook is actually being done in the classrooms, or how it goes. And then on the monthly basis, the vice principals or supervisors can review it. Then a review regarding the portion planned and the portion actually covered has to be done by the in charges before every examination. So if you have unit tests, half yearlies, terminal exam, so before any examination you have to assure that the teachers have completed the portion in the required time. Okay, so these instructions can be mentioned in the logbook. So I told you now, when logbook can be read, in which one of the pages can be a instruction page, so that the teachers know what to do and how to do. Then a year plan can be prepared. I told you a year plan means class, division, subject, how, which month, which topic you're going to teach, how many lectures will be required. Let's say my first topic is hello alkanes and hello arenes, and if I require 8 lectures for that, so I can write here 8 lectures. So a planning can be done for the entire year, so that let's say 12th class I'm having 10 lessons, so 10 lessons planning can be done, and let's say I have to complete my syllabus by November, so I have to divide my portion from June to November. Accordingly, I can do my planning in the beginning of the year itself, and then the teacher can sign here, and the in charge can countersign that says the planning done is proper. In the beginning of the year, your check is kept over it. Okay. Then, of course, there will be different tests and examinations. So the portion, how much portion to be taught for each examination, their distribution of marks and their portion distribution should be done in the beginning of the year itself. So if this is done, then a half of work is done. Yes, planning part is done. Now only teaching is remaining. So after teaching, I told you now, after the year plan is prepared, my this thing is prepared. So then for every chapter, I have to prepare a lesson plan. Okay, that I'll just tell you in my next videos. Next video here. Uh, so next slide here, rather. So here, please keep watching till the end, because you may miss something which is more essential. So here, this compliance is basically recorded after the lecture gets over. So after the lecture, when you come out and you maintain a compliance report, that what date, what time, which topic was taught, and how, whether it was completed or not completed. If it was not completed, then you have to write the reason why it was not completed. Hmm? So then this is maintained month wise. Okay, so month wise this will be maintained for every each division, each class, separate sheet. Okay, don't merge all of them together in one sheet. So if it is 12A, the separate sheet will be maintained for 12A, 12B separate sheet will be maintained, and likewise whichever class you are teaching, the different sheet will be maintained for that. At the end of the month, the teacher will sign here, subject in charge will countersign, and the principal or coordinator can also sign, uh, keeping a check over it, because the subject in charge has to also review this every week. And the principal and coordinator can review it monthly. So this performance evaluation is basically done at the end of the term. So if it is term 1 may have unit test 1 and half yearly. Then term 2 may have unit test 2 and annual. So after completion of the term, the performance evaluation of the teacher is done as to that which subject she is teaching, which classroom, how much portion for examination was there, and what was the date of completion of that portion. Okay, let's say I'm having atomic structure and periodic table and redox reaction. These three chapters in a unit test. So these three chapters, when I completed, the date of completion of these chapters should come here. So that if I want to verify it from the logbook, I can verify. I can verify it with the different other teachers also in the department. So this can be verified, and is a remark of in charge, remark of principal can be stated here. Okay, so this is to be done at the end of the term. Then lesson plan, how you have to prepare a lesson plan. This becomes a very important aspect because we have to cover a day wise teaching and a month wise teaching. The year a chapter, how much how what all we have to give in the chapter to the students, that all comes here. So in this, basically the lesson plan, this is a new type of lesson plan. This is a more interactive lesson plan. Normally nowadays for the government schools and the CBA, the central schools and all, the different pattern is there. But you can use this pattern also. This I found quite interactive lesson plan. So here in this you have learning area. Learning area is which so let's say I'm teaching a subject of chemistry, so my learning area becomes chemistry. Then I write the grade or class here, which class I'm going to. Then unit and chapter name, whichever unit or whichever chapter you are going to teach comes here. Then overview of the chapter, that what in nutshell you're going to teach in this chapter. So this is actually given in the NCERT book. The overview you can take it from your chapter. Then essential questions, which after doing this chapter, what do you expect the students to actually answer? So this is the essential question. This, they should know this after learning this chapter. Okay, then here you can write the number of hours that would be required to teach a chapter, and in the month, from and to date. Okay, so let's say in a week I'm getting 7 lectures of chemistry in a class of 12, and then 3 more lectures required from the next week. So here I can write from and to date also, where the lecture will get completed, where this chapter will get completed. Okay, then along with that, educational toolkits, educator toolkit. This is actually a new concept that's coming up. Toolkit is to enhance the interactiveness in the classroom. So it's not only that a teacher's work in the classroom is just to teach. No, apart from teaching, she's doing some other things also. She's giving them questions. She's giving them showing them lab activity. She's showing them some videos or some chart papers and some cards wherein she's showing some diagram, so to facilitate the teaching learning process. So this all is educators toolkit. So do now, I used to think, now I know. That means at the end of the chapter you can use this tool. That the child used to think that haloalkane is just a halogen, alkanes containing halogen. But after doing the chapter, she knows the properties, she knows the uses, she knows the application. So she knows so many things now after doing the chapter. So earlier I used to think this, but now I know this chapter very well. So at the end of the chapter, you can the students' feedback can be taken, that I used to think and now I know. So this feedback can be taken from the students at the end of the chapter. Then think and share. So think and share tool can be used. The students are given something to some captions, the student is shown, and students are going to think about it, that what it means, and then she gets up and shares it with the entire classroom. So think and share is also one of the tool that can be utilized in the classroom. Then you can show the demonstrations by the lab activities. So if I have to show, so let's say that the reaction is endothermic or exothermic, I can carry the apparatus to the classroom and show them, take the solvent, add solute to it, and take the initial temperature, take the final temperature, and see whether the heat is being produced in the reaction or heat is being absorbed in the reaction, depending on the increase or drop of temperature. Okay, so the students can be shown various demonstrations so that they can understand better. So basically, in the lesson plan, the first page may have this. Huh? So learning area is chemistry, grade here 12th B, whatever grade. Then unit chapter name, and here you present an overview of your chapter. Here some essential questions. Then number of hours that would take to complete the chapter, month, and you can also mention the toolkits you are going to use it for explaining this chapter. Okay. Then in the second page, you can have W, H, E1, R, E2. Now what is this W? W, in this W you have to write how will you help your students to know where they are headed, why they are going there, and what ways they will be evaluated along the way. Okay. So all W's have to be mentioned in the lesson plan. Then H is how will you hook and engage students' interest through a thought-provoking experience at the beginning. How will you make the chapter more interesting for the students? What will you do? Will you show them some experiment or will you show them some video? So how will you hook the concepts to the students? Then how will you equip students, help them experience the key ideas and explore the issue? What will you do for that? And how would you revise the chapter? After doing the and teaching them, how will you reflect, rethink, revise them, the chapter? And finally, how will you do the evaluation? What questions you will give them for self-evaluation? So basically all these things should be there in the lesson plan that you will come to know in the next slide. So see here. So basically, let's say this is my first lesson. In this learning outcomes, what students are going to learn from this topic. So let's say my first chapter was haloalkanes and haloarenes. So students will be able to understand the introduction, classification of haloalkanes. So this is the outcome for my first session. So session number 1, this is the learning outcome. So pose the plan. Now what are you going to teach in the first lesson, first session? That plan has to be posted. That has to be mentioned here. Introduction, classification of haloalkanes. Okay. Then resources. What resources you are going to use to teach this? It may be book, it may be videos, it may be reference books. So whatever resources you are using to teach this chapter. Okay. Then pre-work. Pre-work means what prior work the student and teacher does before coming to the lecture for this chapter. So for teacher, she's reading the content, she's getting well prepared for the content coming. And for students, you tell them prior that tomorrow I'm going to teach this. You should be prepared with all this. So basically, based on the previous informations that they have of the previous class, they should be prepared for the chapter. So let's say they should at least know when they're coming to to read this chapter of haloalkanes and haloarenes. They should know what are haloalkanes, what are haloarenes. These terms they have studied in their class 11, so they should be familiar with these terms when they're coming to the class. Then, so W stands for what? W, what you are going to teach this in this chapter? Basically, it is this introduction and classification of haloalkanes. Then H, what are you going to do to hook the chapter, to make the chapter interesting? So name and introduce an engage tool to be used for this session. So task description, let's say I'm going to discuss. So discussion, I'm doing a discussion in the classroom. What are halogens? What are alkanes? What are haloalkanes? So basically you're building up a topic of haloalkanes, that what are haloalkanes? How are the haloalkanes, from where it came? So what are halogens, they should know first. What are alkanes? Then what are haloalkanes? Okay. Then you go on teaching, and in between you have to ask the questions also. So after teaching, so when I'm teaching the introduction, I explain them about haloalkanes, then I do the classification, number of halogen atoms, types of hybridization, based on that how it is classified, I teach all that. And in between I ask them questions. What are monohaloalkanes? What are dihaloalkanes? What are trihaloalkanes? Give example. Give them example and ask them what type of haloalkane is this. So something to basically know whether they have understood. It's not merely just teaching the introduction, classification and nomenclature in the very first chapter and coming out. No. In between, you have to assure that the students have understood. So you have to be evaluating them. Then you have to revise the topic after teaching this entire topic. You have to revise, summarize the topic basically. So what are primary alkyl halides? What are the secondary alkyl halides? So basically when you revise the topic, you come to know, and with the revision you can ask questions also, so that whether the students have understood or not understood. Then lastly, after completing the topic, from this topic, what can be asked in the examination? So those evaluation questions you can give it to them in the E2. Okay. Then of course you can give them some small homework, that read the content or prepare this, do some questions of NCERT. Okay. And this becomes a post work, and for the students and for teacher has to prepare for the next day content, prepare some experiment, prepare some demonstration, prepare some ICT for the next lecture. So basically this is the post work. So likewise for every session this should be prepared. This entire this page has to be prepared. So let's say my topic gets completed, my chapter gets completed in 10 topics. So I will have 10 session pages depending on how many lectures I am going to take for completing the chapter. This is clear? Okay.